Alright, we are tackling the version 1.4 Memory of Chaos starting from stage 6. I chose to start from stage 6 this time just because stages 1 through 5, the enemies were just a little bit too underleveled for my teams. So it wasn't really as much of a guide as it was just me stomping low health enemies. So for the first team, you want to run a unit that can deal with the Shapeshifter. Both Herta and Pella are great options for that. I'm choosing Herta this time just because she's not as great against the Abundance Ape, so it's going to be running the AoE route, whereas Pella just dispels the buff on the boss, so you don't have to worry about the lifesteal at all. Next up, I'm going to run Dan Heng just to make up for a little bit of the single target damage that Herta lacks, and then Yukon is a buff unit because she has that elemental advantage. And she also works really well with Herta because follow-up attacks do not consume roaring bowstrings, and her ult just does a lot of single target damage, which helps out a little bit more. For sustain, we're going to run Natasha, just because she has a pretty good ult energy regen, so she can keep up Dan Heng's passive pretty regularly, as compared to Lynx, who has a little bit more of an ult energy cost, so she's a little less skill point efficient. For Team 2, it's pretty much going to be turning Hook into the hyper carry by running Pella and Asta with her. And then we're finishing off with March 7th just because her shield's really good to counter the Abundance Ape, since we just shield whoever's going to be hit by the focused attack. So, we're pretty much just use all of our techniques here. And we're going to start with Yukon just because Dan Heng moves first. And if you don't know about this boss, for turn 1, it's going to use its single target attack, Thunder Shock or something. Yeah, into a summon. Then it's going to alternate between 2 single target attacks, and then a single target and an AoE. You pretty much just need to make sure to strip its lifesteal, because when it uses that AoE, it's going to be healing for a really large amount of damage. So you want to get rid of that lifesteal by at least turn 3. And then if it does get all the way to turn 5, it does use another summon that is predetermined. So you can look out for that if, you know, the fight does take that long. Okay, and no, I'll just use this attack and weakness break it here. I don't want to use Yukon's ult or Herta's ult just because they have really high regens. And I'm not confident that we'll get it back up before the next fight. But yeah, there's the single target. And we can probably... yeah, came pretty close. Now we can finish it off with the single target. So for the second fight, it includes Searing Prowler, who has a little bit of an annoying pattern. Because on, I think it's turn 3, it's going to use a giant speed buff. So you pretty much just want to bring its toughness bar to the point where you can weakness break it immediately once it uses that speed buff, because it's gonna move really fast, and if you can't weakness break it, it's gonna ramp up in damage really quickly. So now we're gonna use all of our buffs here. We're gonna focus down the Shapeshifter, so we'll get Yukon's ult up, Natasha's ult for the passive, and then Herta's ult. Since Herta moves next, I'm going to wait before I use Dan Heng's ultimate, just in case we can get this dissociation buff up. And we got lucky there. Because yeah, if you don't know, consecutive turns do apply to your ultimate, so you can take advantage of that if you're not running a unit that can move consecutively. Just like we did there, since we run Dan Heng into his actual turn. And yeah, it's a pretty easy fight. If you can't deal with his toughness bar, dissociation there is another great way to deal with it, though it's a little bit more RNG based, as you can tell. Alright, so unfortunately we have all offensive techniques here, so your best options are either Pella or Asta. Either if you want to inflict another defense break or just get started on your attack buffs. I'm going to go with the attack buff since it does save us a skill point at the start of the battle. Since we don't need to use a skill to get 5 stacks. There we go. And we don't lose our stacks yet. And we use her skill on Hook since she's going to use her skill before the boss gets its turn. And now we can just let this shield absorb all the damage and not worry about it. And we might as well use Hook's ult now. Great. And we'll use Pella's skill here, just because it'll regen her ultimate. And this does have the chance to apply the dissociation, which is what we want. A viable strategy could be saving up your ultimates just for the dissociation thing. Because you can save up March 7's ultimate, who doesn't have as much of an impactful ult in my opinion, and get that dissociation buff more often. Anyways, I didn't really bother talking about this guy's pattern. He uses a buff and then uses a single target attack 3 turns in a row. It's not really anything that you wouldn't know. Yeah, we can take that attack. I'm actually gonna just weakness break this thing for now. I don't want it to summon a minion that we'll have to deal with. Fantastic, and that's the end of turn 1. Okay. So, if you haven't noticed, Herta's just really good in a lot of these stages. And in a lot of cases, she's good for both stages just because this team leader is another great foe for her. So she's really winning this MoC, and it really makes you wish that you had more than one Herta. Anyways, if you don't know, this guy's a pretty simple one. He uses the basic attack into the summon, and then he's gonna give all of his, or he summons his units, and then they all get those stacks. Turn 2, he's gonna absorb those stacks into a charge up. Then turn 3, he's gonna do a massive AoE attack where he takes advantage of those stacks. It's just a lot of annoying things, but if you weakness break him, it kind of messes up his pattern a bit, where he's just gonna summon the minions and then go into the charge up and not do anything but the stacks. So it's one of those things that you can take advantage of. Use our ult here into our skill. That way we get our enhanced skill and do some decent damage. I'm gonna save up March 7th ult just for the chance of applying dissociation. We don't need to ult this guy. We can use our skill here. March 7th moves next, so we can get that shield on whoever we need to. And Hook doesn't need a shield, so we'll just basic attack into ulting. And if we're lucky, nope. So yeah, it's a pretty simple fight. The team leader, I'd say, is the most complicated part of it. So you pretty much just want to make sure to weakness break him as much as possible so you don't have to deal with the charge up attack. We don't have a lot of good AoE management, but luckily we don't need to kill his minions to win the fight. Yeah, Hook will probably want the shield again. Now we'll use our skill into our ultimate, and if we're lucky, maybe we'll get the dissociation. Meh. Oh, we did. So that boss is pretty much dead. And we'll use our basic attack into our ultimate. Yeah, we'll just let Hook take the hit. I don't think Asta would tank it. I think I have her built HP and not defense. Yeah, I'll use this on Hook. And now it's pretty much just a fight against the ape, and as you saw from the first fight, it's not too difficult. Once you weakness break it, it loses all of its stacks, I believe. Or maybe it's Pell that loses stacks, I kind of forgot. Okay, I think it's just Pell that loses stacks. I was probably thinking of a different boss. So he's taking his rest turn since he's out of stack, so we don't really have to worry about taking damage this turn. And we can probably finish off with Hook next turn. And now we use our ult here. And yeah, pretty simple fight. Awesome. And I will say, another reason I wanted to do this with the last 5 stages is just because I want to run this again when the next banner drops. And we get the new 4-star character, just because I want to show how she changes up the stages and all that. And doing it with 5 stages is a lot more approachable than starting from stage 1 again. And yeah, we'll just see what the next stage is. I haven't really done much research into this. Okay, this is great because we have a certain unit that moves multiple times per turn by consuming skill points that's gonna really benefit from this Memory of Chaos buff, so it's gonna be an interesting stage. And then also the second stage, you know, we also have Susheng who moves multiple times per turn. Yeah, it looks like a stage that's gonna be really great to demonstrate the power of this buff. Anyways, I'll show off the relic stats and all that now, and that'll pretty much be the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Alright, and that is the end if you've stuck around till now. Next video will, of course, be out tomorrow, because I do plan to do these once a day, Monday through Friday. Probably won't be the same with next character. I don't think she releases till... what day does she release? 4 days? I guess... yeah, heck, I can probably do it Monday to Friday next week. So, yeah. I guess maybe we'll be doing Stage 6 again next Monday. We'll have to see. Anyways, thanks for watching.